You are a mouse. And as a mouse, you live out your days raiding garbage cans and avoiding being seen by other animals and humans. You find that you get more food than humans, the thing you're trying to avoid. But you decide to go for it because you're small and fast and haven't gotten caught yet. A week goes by and all is well. You've been able to avoid the humans while also getting their scraps. Weeks turn to months, then a year. All is still going well for you as you're going on your daily prowl until you hear a snap. You've been caught in a trap placed by the human you were sure you could outmaneuver. As the light begins to fade, you hear the footsteps of the human coming towards you. You can't help but think, what went wrong? You are sure you understood your environment, but yet you never encountered this trap before, as it wasn't there a month, a week, a day ago, only for you to be discarded in the same dumpster you once viewed as a source of nourishment. You've just experienced a black swan. Hello all, and welcome to the channel. I'm your guide, Koisader, and today we will be exploring the thing that's always lurking in the background, something we can't see or sense until it's there. Like a bird you see swimming in a pond, you know it's a swan as it has the same shape and size, but something's off. Instead of the white majestic bird you thought was going to appear before you, this one's different. This one's black. We'll be covering the black swan theory. Before we begin, I would like to say thank you for watching, and if you like listening to topics you might not have heard about, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment for more content to come. With that out of the way, let's dive in. Throughout life, we've all experienced a black swan. You're probably thinking, I don't even know what a black swan is, so how would I know if I experienced it? A black swan is an unpredictable event that is beyond what we normally expect in a situation. The thing that makes a black swan is its potential to have severe consequences. The term black swan was coined by Nassim Nicholas Taleb, a former Wall Street trader and finance professor. Taleb wrote the book, The Black Swan, The Impact of Highly Impossible in 2007, about the market, to which crashed the next year in 2008. He called it the black swan, as up until 1697, it was believed swans were only white, and the thought of a black swan was impossible. Think back to June 1914, the day a black swan took its nest. Around 11 a.m., 2 shots rang out, to which took the lives of Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophia. An assassination by a young nationalist, Prince Clip, who believed the Duke was a threat to his people's freedom. What makes this event in Black Swan is the unlikelihood of Prince Clip to have been able to have shot Ferdinand and his wife at point blank, as the latter was in the company of his entourage, but due to some mishaps, put the Duke face to face with his killer. The Swan's consequences rippled throughout history to be the starting point of one of the deadliest wars ever, World War I. An assassination between a country's 2 opposing groups that evolved into every major world power fighting each other and leaving 20 million dead in its wake. After the war ended, the world came together to ensure another event like this doesn't happen through the Treaty of Versailles. Little did they know, another swan was taking its nest. A black swan event doesn't necessarily have to be a socio-world-changing event. It can also be an economical one. For example, take the economic class of the United States. If we add up each of the classes, that being the lower, middle, and high, even though we added all the classes together, the upper 1% still owns 40% of the overall wealth. This will also be a black swan event, as even though the top earners are in the 1% of the overall population, they still own more than half the economy. As figures like Bezos and Disney are able to get bigger tax write-offs and buy out their competition, as they have become integral parts in our societies economically, leaving smaller businesses unable to compete. You may think that these millionaires worked hard for what they have, but in actuality, they just received a black swan. You may be thinking, isn't black swan supposed to be negative? So how could Bezos have one being positive? And well, it isn't. As Bezos' story's success was able to inspire people, the consequence of the swan is that you'll never hear about the failures, from the thousands of people who work just as hard, but because of the outliers beyond our control. The Swan favored Bezos. And since failure stories don't sell, they're hidden away to the background of our society. As Bezos, now acquiring billions from his Swan, is also able to shape the world into his image, being able to put Amazon into every home, building, or entertainment he wishes. You may think that now in our day and age, we're able to prevent black swans through our development of technology and diplomacy. The thing is though, we're more vulnerable to a black swan event than at any given point in history. As the world becomes more connected, it gives the black swan more points of interjection. As a species, we think we know what it means to take risk, and try to predict the best outcome for ourselves. That's what makes the black swan so deadly. It doesn't allow you the ability of hindsight. The experts may tell you the chances of a black swan, but we can never know for sure. As we use our technology and understanding of probability on subjects and try to apply it onto a concept that relies on so many outliers, it isn't possible. Take for example the most recent black swan, the 2008 financial crash. Investors believing they could make more money bought out mortgages from banks. That way, not only would they be getting paid by the homeowner, but should the homeowner default on their debt, the investors would get the house, giving them the illusion of safety. As even if the person wasn't able to pay their debt, they would still get something back in return, to which they could resell. They unknowingly fell into a swan. As other companies and corporations saw the money they were making from buying out mortgages, began doing the same thing, until the prices for housing went down, as more people was able to afford it. Because of this, once people started to default on their mortgages, caused lenders to default on their debt. They couldn't pay, and since the supply of houses outscaled the demand, caused the lenders to go under, as they weren't able to do anything with the homes. Push turns to shove, and businesses that relied on loans to stay operational weren't getting any more funding, causing the loss of over 2 million jobs in the last 4 months of 2008 alone.
Research Motion and Microsoft are all to the upside. Look how strong.
Did not disappoint. 400 points higher. Yes, indeed. The markets roar higher last 30 minutes of trading as volatility once again rules the day.
Most of the techs this morning, if not all of them, have just exploded to the down 1.7% here, a loss of 37 points or so. Apple shares are just getting hammered this morning.
We're down by between 3 and 4.5% generally across these markets. Let's talk about the speed with which we are watching this market deteriorate. We're red everywhere, essentially, down by 4 or 5%.
We're down over 16%. Dow at the same time has fallen about 18%.
The stock market is now down 21%.
Because we're now down 43%.
What in the world is happening on Wall Street?
Two-year note yields went from 190 to 166 in the blink of an eye.
The NASDAQ, everything and more has been
Of the world. Joby Bell is going to ring.
Here working the phone say a lot of their customers are freaked out waiting to see how low the Dow will go. They're focused on the Dow, not so focused on OPEC. Yes, OPEC did cut production by 1.5 million barrels per day.
Really, you're seeing just broad-based declines across all of the major technology sectors. Apple's under pressure, Yahoo down 8.5%, Cisco 6.5%, Research in Motion 10%.
And we're not getting the bid wanted. We're not getting the stop trading, and we see where the buyers are. We're just every day they're pounding it.
The heightened financial turmoil that we have experienced of late may well lengthen the period of weak economic performance and further increase the risk to growth.
Can't look at it after you buy it because it's so horrible.
But we've had an 8-day losing streak in the Dow that in percentage terms puts it on par, close to the loss suffered in that crash in 1987, close to that percentage loss those 2 days in 1929.
What started in America last year has now spread to every part of the world.
We're down 9% today. The Xetra DAX over in Frankfurt is down by 9%. The Paris market down by 9%. Austria, which was briefly suspended earlier on in the day, is down by nearly 11%.
This market is as volatile as you'll ever see.
Traders saying this is the craziest day they have ever seen in these markets. Veteran traders saying they've never seen anything like it. The movement in oil prices so fast, so
Seconds to go until the start of trading.
Black swan events can be anxiety-inducing and scary, as they're unseen but also unavoidable. Since their probability relies on so many outliers, you can't keep up with it. There is a positive outcome to this though. Your very existence proves it, as the likelihood of you being alive is 1 in 4 trillion. But the black swan that caused your ancestors to come together gave its consequences to you. It gave you life. It made you the black swan. If you liked the content you heard today, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more subjects you might not have heard about. I love you all, and until next time.